That is not making the edit. What is up, interwebs? Big Lou here, Matt, the Cutman, with me as always. It is Avengers Infinity War, full spoilers review. We are not even going to pretend to try and talk about this movie without talking spoilers because
belly on up.
It just cannot be done. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go see the movie.
What the fuck is your problem?
Exactly. So we are going to dive right in. You have been warned. If you haven't seen it, prepare to be spoiled. So, jumping right on in, Cutman.
Yes.
I have 2 pages of notes.
Just the 2?
Just the 2. It's a big font, but it's still
I'll
2.
say.
What did you think of Infinity War?
I don't know. I'll tell you when I've seen a complete story.
Yeah. You are not wrong. And I got to be perfectly honest with you, I totally saw that coming. I figured that this movie was going to be about Thanos getting the stones, and at the end of this, him having the full gauntlet, and what do we do about it now? Had they done it where it was just Thanos getting the stones, the first part of the movie, of fighting him in the second part of the movie, it would not have done that character justice whatsoever. And I think the biggest thing that this movie did was they did Thanos justice.
They did him justice. I'm not really certain though that I cared or liked about Thanos though.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we will definitely have to get into that a little bit more. We'll get into some of the stuff that you did not like. What did you like? What stood out to you the most?
Well, it's an Avengers movie.
Yes.
You've got them all there. I mean, you've got them all there.
Every single one of them.
Well, almost every single one of them.
Yes. No Clint. No Scott.
Yeah, no
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
And I love the line that Banner says, there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man? It was great.
Great. Yeah, and it was like, what's with all the insects? I was waiting for somebody to say, well, spider's not an insect.
Oh, okay. Well, it's technically you're right.
That's true.
Which makes it even funnier when Thanos grabs him at the end and calls him an insect.
Yeah.
Was great to see the Iron Spider suit, though.
Yeah, that was badass.
That was really, really cool. That actually, unfortunately, had gotten spoiled for me because I follow a toy company online, and they had posted pictures of their new Hot Toys of the Spider-Man.
Did it have the leg?
It had the legs, yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
I went,
okay.
That
But
sucks.
still, you knew that there was going to be.
Yeah.
You knew that he was going to wear the Iron Spider suit.
Yeah.
And you just know that Tony's going to have some Easter eggs on that thing.
Sure. So, one of the biggest things to me that I liked was the story. I thought that the story of this was done in such a way that it just was like go, 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 but it didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel that it was like there was hardly any time to catch your breath right from the minute that the screen opens and we see Thanos attacking Thor's ship with all the Asgardians?
Asgardians?
Yeah, Asgardian refugees. So what did you feel about the story?
Again, it's not a complete story. This would be like saying, well, what did you think of the Iliad? I'm only up to the part where Homer dies. Spoiler alert on that, by the way.
Yeah, if you haven't read the Iliad by now, we can't really help you.
We've got a few thousand years after it came out. So we're about halfway through the story. So what's happened thus far has been good. But I'm just left wanting more.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely am wanting more. I guess I'm just, because I'm such a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, I kind of am used to getting, here's taste. Here's taste.
Right.
Here's taste.
Right, or something like Westworld or The Walking Dead, where it's that long form storytelling.
Yeah.
And that's really what the MCU has brought to the table.
Dude, the guys over at Collider, and if you don't watch the Collider channel, you should definitely check them out. They refer to the MCU as the longest television cinematic thing, because it's like the greatest TV show you've ever seen, and every couple of years we get a new episode.
A hell of a production value.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're not wrong. It's like they're like, oh, Game of Thrones has how much of a budget per movie? Okay, hold my beer. But yeah, in each of the phases can be considered to be,
Seasons,
a season. So what we got here was the season finale of season 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
And it was freaking cliffhanger.
Gotta wait all summer.
Yeah. Gotta wait a whole nother year, but it's still gonna be awesome. So, any surprises on, like, what jumped out at you that you didn't see coming? What was the biggest...
Red Skull.
Oh, dude.
Come on.
Dude.
Red Skull. And speaking of The Walking Dead, the actor that played Ross Marquand.
I wrote his name down because I don't watch the Walking Dead, but yeah, Ross Marquand.
That's how Chris Hardwick always introduces him.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
On Talking Dead, or if you're watching Ed Midnight or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's always Ross Marquand.
Yeah,
Ross Marquand, who does a hell of a good
Hugo Weaving impression,
but he does a hell of a good everybody impression. This guy is
he's on it. Gotcha. Nice.
It is.
Yeah, no, I totally didn't see that coming. And I've seen it twice now. I saw it with you last night, and I saw it again this morning. When I saw it last night, I was like, God, who is that voice? What is that voice? And then he walks out of the shadows, and you see it's Red Skull. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then when I saw it again this morning, as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, yeah, it's totally Red Skull. How did I not put that together when I was watching it? But yeah, no, the Red Skull was definitely the biggest I didn't see that coming moment. And how they were able to keep that under wraps, kudos to them.
Ross Marquand, not Hugo Weaving.
Well, that's true too.
But they did a really good job of keeping all of it under wraps, because nothing, at least I stayed well clear of spoilers.
Oh yeah, no, me too.
But I feel like they did a pretty good job.
I absolutely agree. So what else you got?
Well, so what I really enjoyed were some of the new character pairings.
I've got a bunch of them written here. Yeah.
The one that stood out to me the most,
yeah,
Doctor Strange and Mr. Stark.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love seeing those two going at it and being smart ass hoffs.
And Ben and Jerry's, if we don't get Stark Raving Hazelnut and Hulka Hulka Burning Fudge,
I will write a letter.
I'm going to write a strongly worded letter because I need that now. Yeah. So yeah.
It's a bit chalky.
It's a bit chalky. It's fantastic. It's like, what have you been doing? I've been protecting your reality, douchebag. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And Stephen Strange. I'm a huge Benedict Cumberbatch fan.
How can you not be?
And it took me a little while in the first Dr. Thor movie to...
Dr. Thor movie?
Dr. Thor movie. I have Thor written down here. Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
To get used to
him
an American accent coming out of Sherlock's mouth.
Yeah.
But I was fully over it by Avengers, and just really...
Yeah. I am really glad that, as much as I would have liked to have seen them do a no shit Sherlock or aren't you just a great detective quip, I'm glad they didn't, because that would have totally taken me out, and we got enough quips from them that we didn't need it.
Yeah.
Would it have been funny? Absolutely. Was it needed? Not at all.
Yeah, that would have been too much of a wink to the camera.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. My favorite pairing, since you've already taken the best one.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But, oh, sweet rabbit.
Yes!
Thor and Rocket.
What do I have written down here?
Thor, motherfucking Thor. Dude, Thor, the scene at the end where he comes through using the Stormbreaker as the Bifrost, and it's him standing there with Rocket on his shoulder and Groot standing next to him. I want that as a poster.
Right.
I'm going to put it on the wall right here somewhere. Because,
you speak Groot?
Yeah. They taught it in Asgard. It was an elective. It's fantastic. Yeah, and I'm really glad that they didn't overuse Groot. He was there, he contributed, and he
contributed to the storm.
Yeah.
Stormbreaker.
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 Yeah. Yeah. And then we've got some other great pairings here with, the dynamic, again, between Tony Stark and Peter Parker.
Come on.
Is always great. Quill and Gamora had some great moments together. I thought their stuff was great. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Thanos really likes bubbles.
Yeah.
And then Vision and Wanda, I thought that was...
Yeah.
It could have been really hokey to do that romance stuff that they put in there, but I thought it worked. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think it helped that that Vision was almost in human form.
Yeah.
Certainly at the beginning.
Yeah.
That it allowed that to be a normal.
Yeah.
Human relationship.
Yeah, exactly. But the one to me is Cap and T'Challa. When they're getting ready to go into battle at the end, and T'Challa's doing that war chant, and I'm not even going to try to recreate it because that would just be insulting. They're doing that war chant, and then they all go running in, and it's the entire herd of warriors, and then Cap and T'Challa are just out front.
Oh, yeah.
Out sprinting everybody to go right into the fray, and I was just like, that.
Even like out sprinting War Machine.
Yeah, who was flying behind them. Yeah. So yeah, that was just some great character moments, and I'm a sucker for a good character introduction, and Cap's introduction in this, stepping out of the shadows after having caught that spear, and just with the Avengers theme, da da dun da 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 dun da 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 da.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great reveal of those characters. So what else you got?
There were some things that I was not fond of. But we were talking about the pros of it. And I suppose we can just jump into this being a full spoiler review.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Vision.
Yes.
His ending.
You didn't like it?
No, I'm saying that's what I.
Oh, pros.
That,
yeah. Okay.
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
one of the. That was one of the things that really hit hard.
Yeah.
Was Vision going
twice.
Yeah. I guess that's true. But everyone's reaction to that, especially Natasha's.
Yeah.
She just walked up to it and just was everyone was just kind of aghast.
Wait, Natasha or Wanda?
I mean, Wanda's obviously, but when Natasha walked up to Vision, I don't know why my eyes just naturally draw to her.
Well, it's Scarlett Johansson, so duh.
But her reaction to that felt like it looked like she had been kicked in the gut.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, she was kind of like, she was aghast.
I was focused more on Cap because I was waiting for Cap to counter. If you remember at the end of the first Avengers, he's sitting there kind of relieved, and he goes, "We won." I was waiting for a "we lost" moment from Cap, and we didn't get it. So I'm glad we didn't. That would kind of been cheesy. It's why I'm not a writer. But I was watching him, and I didn't really see what else was going on in the background there. One of my pros that I really enjoyed was the Black Order, the Children of Thanos. I thought that as far as henchmen go, they were freaking badass to me. I mean, you've got Ebony Maw, his battle with Stark and Strange in the beginning in New York was freaking fantastic. I mean, you've got Stark throwing a car at him, and he just puts his hand up and it slices the car in half, which was great. And then him torturing Doctor Strange with those needle things.
Well, I tell you what, that seemed a little odd to me. Not the torturing with the needle things, but the fact that he was able to just like decimate Vision and Wanda was putting up a pretty good fight, but then
That's a different guy though.
But wasn't he fighting? He wasn't fighting them. Those were different people.
There were four of them. There was Ebony Maw, who was the guy that was fighting Tony in Doctor Strange.
Right.
And then Proxima Midnight was the chick with the horns.
Right.
And then the guy that you're thinking of is Clovis Glaive.
Okay, yeah. Well, Clovis was the one that was torturing Doctor Strange, right?
No, that was Ebony Maw.
All right.
Sorry. Well, those Black Order guys all look alike. Except for Black Dwarf, who was just...
Come on.
I mean, dude, freaking awesome. Speaking of dwarves, I think we gotta talk about the Dink.
Okay.
When I found out Peter Dinklage was going to be in this movie, I heard somebody say, "Oh, what if he's going to play Itri and they're going to go and have him forge, Stormbreaker?" And I went, "They wouldn't make Peter Dinklage play a dwarf. You're not going to do that." Well, they did that, but they did that to great effect because he was like
badass
8
of ways.
feet tall. It's fantastic. It's fantastic because, I mean, he has that screen presence that he seems like he's 8 feet tall, even though he's very much not. And to have him be that, I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. That whole bit there with him and Thor and holding the iris open, and making Stormbreaker, that was pretty badass.
It was, but I had issues with it because for me, and I guess this is just me because I watch a lot of like blacksmithing videos and stuff like Forge and Fire and whatnot. It just was like, oh, we're going to pour it into the mold and put a stick on it. And now you've got this badass thing. And I was wanting more from the actual forging of Stormbreaker because it's this legendary, amazingly King of Asgard worthy weapon. And
well, let me ask you this. Do your videos have them using a beam of energy from a star
to melt the metal? No.
Okay. Then.
No, they do not. So, but yeah.
Check and make it.
Other than it being a little too easy for me.
You'd like to see him, polishing it.
I would have liked at least because he had made the comment. He's like, all the knowledge you have is in your head, not in your hands. And he was like, let me be your hands and we'll blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I was expecting them to actually see him like guiding Thor and forging his own weapon.
We'll probably see that in a deleted scene. I feel like they probably did do that and then it got cut for time.
Well, if you remember, Thor was kind of dead on the ground after having held open the iris as it was doing that. But, c'est la vie. Again, very, very nitpicky for me. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And then, of course, seeing M'Baku back as the man-ape from watching him lead his people and stuff, that was just... anytime he's on screen, it's just wildly entertaining to me.
He's pretty badass.
Yeah. What other negatives do you have? And then we could start getting into some other things.
So here's the thing. With the amount of those that died in this, it didn't really, I didn't feel the impact, especially because I know the time stone is in play.
Yep.
So things are going to go back and forth, and I know that the new Spider-Man movie has a release date already.
As does Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And
who are we kidding ourselves?
I get that, but at the same time, watching Tom Holland holding on to Robert Downey Jr. saying, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. That got me.
But only for like 2 seconds. Because then I know, that obviously isn't going to stick because there's going to be another Spider-Man movie. And so all of these things are coming into my head, and I guess that's the movie's fault in not keeping me in that.
Yeah, well, and it also, we're kind of at a disadvantage because we watch so many movies and because we're in on all the social media of what movies are coming out, who's going to be in what, and stuff like that, and we do this and we talk about and digest and break down movies.
But it's still there wasn't the necessary impact that if this were like a World War II movie and half of the squad just died, like in Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. Each one of those deaths, those have real impact.
Wait, so all died in Saving Private Ryan?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Oh man. So yeah, no, I get where you're coming from with that, but at the same time, I feel that that was necessary, not necessarily for us as audience members, but for those who are left standing. Because
and I'm sure it will be all taken care of.
Yeah.
The story will be serviced in the second act, the second half.
So while we're talking about folks who had died, we've got two different groups of people that died. We've got
and I was going to mention that as well.
The people who died before the snap and the people that faded to dust. So before the snap, we've got Heimdall, Loki, Gamora, and Vision. Are any of those four coming back?
I think if anybody, Gamora.
Possibly, yeah. I could see that.
I feel like with her relationship with
the Soul Stone with Thanos and stuff like that,
I feel like there's probably more to that. But I think maybe if any possibility of Vision coming back, I think Vision might revert back into Jarvis.
And that's I had that thought because Paul Bettany as Jarvis was just fantastic. He was great as Vision too, but I do miss
better as Jarvis.
Yeah, I miss Jarvis having hell. My Wi-Fi is named Jarvis. So, but yeah, no, I agree. I think Heimdall is done.
Yeah.
I think Loki is done. I don't think Loki's coming back. Gamora, it's possible she might come back, but I don't think so. And yeah, I don't think we're going to see Vision again, but we may get Paul Bettany back as Jarvis.
Yeah.
At some point. So
and I guess that Friday is a cloud-based OS and not built into the suit.
Yeah. See, and that's one of the things that I was missing was Friday and Karen too.
Yeah,
which Karen was the one in Spider-Man's suit. So we didn't have that at all. So it was odd that they were cloud-based AIs as opposed to being fully integrated into the suit. But I guess it kind of makes sense. So those who were dead after the snap, we've got Bucky, T'Challa, Wanda, Falcon, Groot, Spidey, Drax, Quill, Mantis, and Doctor Strange. Leaving those left standing, Thor, Cap, Tony, Widow, Banner, Clint maybe, and then of course the two that are not from the original Avengers squad.
Yeah.
We've got Rhodey and Ant-Man. Potentially Ant-Man.
And I found it weird because the Mad Titan had said himself that I would just kill indiscriminately. It wouldn't be a rich poor thing. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be like on the Titanic where you board the lifeboats by class.
By class, yeah.
And so that was his way of committing genocide.
Yes.
Okay, if you're going to commit genocide, I suppose that's the least worst way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I also found it interesting that only the original Avengers were left, so I feel like maybe it wasn't completely at random, because if it was at random, then...
Well, at the end of the day, remember that even though the character of Thanos did it completely at random, a human writer has to actually determine which characters live and die.
No, I understand that, but I still feel like that, because it was the original...
The OG Avengers?
Yeah. I kept wanting to say the original 7, but those are the Mercury astronauts. They kind of feel like the Mercury astronauts.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe.
But...
talk about the right stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's going to come into play in the next one.
Oh, yeah. No, I am really, really looking forward to the fact that... Oh, and Rocket, too. Rocket's still left standing. I forgot to mention him.
Yeah.
Because he... watched as Groot faded away, which was also just heartbreaking. And I think that having the original Avengers squad be the ones to kind of take Thanos down with the addition of Captain Marvel. If you didn't stay till after the credits, then you don't know what the hell we're talking about. But yeah, so... That's that. 2 questions that I have for you is, did Thanos live up to a 6-year buildup, and where do we go from here? You had mentioned that you didn't think that Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish he was. I wasn't just the biggest fan of his.
Really?
Yeah.
That's I don't feel that. I don't share that.
What was his motivation?
His motivation was that he didn't want to have the rest of the galaxy. It was like his way of thinking of, okay, we have the finite resources. Everything is finite. Wiping people out.
Why was that his problem? Why did he decide that? Well, I will be the one to eliminate half the universe.
Because he's crazy. That's the thing, is that
the Joker was crazy, and I loved his character.
well, that's a different kind of crazy.
I know that.
Different kind of crazy. It's, I mean, Thanos's motivation was that he wanted to be the savior. He wanted to be the hero of his own story. He wanted to be the one to look around and say, everyone could be at peace now. You're welcome.
I just think Marvel has such a bad track record with its villains. We'll save a few.
Yeah.
Loki being my favorite.
Yeah, Loki and Killmonger. And
Sure. But this time they decided they were going to, really give the villain the proper backstory. But since they did that, I just feel like that there wasn't enough of... I didn't understand what his problem was. He just wanted to kill half of the universe so the other half could be okay. Okay, that's I understood what it was, but I just didn't agree that it was necessarily that interesting.
I don't know what to I can't help you with that, because
I know.
I found it incredibly entertaining. It very much worked for me, and like the scene where he had to throw Gamora off the thing.
That was good.
Everything, it all worked for me, and I think Josh Brolin.
And I love the motion capture.
Yeah, he, to me, does not get nearly enough credit as the talented actor that he is, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do when we can actually see, like, his face as Cable in Deadpool, because that's going to be friggin' awesome as well. But what else didn't work for you?
All right, so not to get too technical, but
Tech away, sir.
Iron Man's new suit is
a little too convenient.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, the history of Iron Man.
Yeah.
That's Iron Man, links the Marvel Universe to the real world.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that mechanical suit that he built, I can see how it could possibly work. You can see the gears working in it. This, that, and another. And all of the ones have become more fantastical, but they've all been somewhat reality-based in engineering.
Yeah. And this was just straight sci-fi.
Yeah. This was, I don't know what the hell this was.
It's nanotech. You like that?
Yeah. And I probably would have liked it more had there been an Iron Man 4 that introduced his nanotech.
Yeah.
And spent a good deal of time explaining what it was and how it worked.
Yeah, no.
This was just a suit MacGuffin.
Yeah.
That
you're not wrong.
And that's that's the thing that disappointed me the most, because my favorite character is Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Iron Man, but the Tony Stark. And I wanted to see how he problem solved.
Is that because you're in love with Elon Musk?
Maybe. Do I want Elon Musk to adopt me? Maybe I do.
I agree that his nano suit was... you hit the nail on the head. It was... The suit was a MacGuffin, and it was just... Everything Thanos threw at him, was able to have some defense.
Instant countermeasure.
Yeah. Now, whether or not had he just made some reference to the tech behind it, as in, like, it read his the nanites were able to create whatever it was that he needed at that time.
Right.
Just kind of like, oh, I think I need a shield, and it'll form a shield, or I think I need this new gun, and blah, blah, blah. Had he explained a little bit of how it worked, I think I would have been able to accept it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you that it was really, really convenient.
At the end of Iron Man, we believe that Iron Man could defeat Warmonger, because we saw him going through his learning how to fly process.
Yeah.
And how the suit
Which is
worked.
still one of my favorite sequences in the entire cinematic universe.
Yeah, I can fly.
Yeah. For lack of a better option, Dummy is still on fire patrol, and I swear to God, if you douse me again and I'm not on fire, I'm donating you to a city college.
Oh man, when I landed my drone after its first flight, I looked over at a friend of mine like, yeah, I can fly.
Yeah.
She didn't get it.
Yeah, of course not. One of my favorite lines from that sequence is when he says, Jarvis, sometimes you have to run before you can walk. It's just...
Yeah,
which is the Tony Stark mantra.
And so we get and we completely buy into how the suit works because we watched him work through the mechanics.
Yeah.
The physical, actual mechanics of how it worked. With this, it was just, I'm going to have some 24th century tech.
Yeah. Yeah, it was... He was able to do with his suit what we spent a whole movie watching Doctor Strange learn how to do with magic.
Okay, yeah, there you
go. So, yeah.
Proper analogous.
I agree with you on that. One of my biggest negatives as far as plot points goes was basically Peter Quill ruins everything. Because they've got him sedated, they've got the gauntlet almost off of him, and then Pete's going to throw a hissy
Start
fit.
punching him.
Yeah, because he killed Gamora. We get it, dude. You're grieving, and that, to me, is a very blatant MacGuffin. And I think that
I get a little bit more, though.
I'm not saying that it wasn't justified, but I think that had it been that they got the gauntlet off of him, and they're like, oh, yeah, we won, and then Pete started beating him up, and he ends up getting the gauntlet back, because we know he's going to get the gauntlet back, I think that would have worked a little bit better. But for him to just Blake straight out in the middle of everything that's going on, Peter and Tony are trying to rip it off. Mantis is holding on for dear life. Doctor Strange has got him tied up, and they're like, it's the big pinnacle moment, and he's just going to be a bro and be like, what you looking at my girl for? Type of a moment. It just, I don't know. So,
but now speaking of Doctor Strange, though,
yes,
and his 14,506 possible outcomes,
alternate futures, yes,
and there's only one in which they win, and apparently they're still in that little slipstream.
Yeah,
and we're in the final.
We're in the end.
We're
game
in the
now.
end game.
Yeah,
yeah. So Strange's. This is still part of Strange's plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I feel that when he looked at Tony and said it was the only way, and then faded to dust, he knew.
Oh, he absolutely knew.
By giving him the time stone and saving Tony's life, that was how they're going to ultimately defeat Thanos. Tony has to survive.
Yeah, and so we're still in the end game.
Yeah.
And so that's still going on, and
motherfucker,
God damn it, we still got to wait a year.
I know. More than a year, because it's May 3rd next year. Remember, they bumped this one up. They were supposed to come out on the same weekend, a year apart, and
Solo.
Solo and the whole thing. So, we haven't talked. We haven't talked about yet is Banner and the Hulk and their dichotomy or lack thereof.
Yeah, their
how did
performance issues.
Yeah, how did that play for you? Did you buy that?
I like seeing more Banner.
Yeah.
And by the way, I called it.
You totally did.
Banner in the suit.
You totally did, bro. No. To be fair, you called Hulk in the suit.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, no. And when I saw him in the suit, I almost leaned over to you and went, "Dude, you totally called that."
Yeah.
But
I thought it was. Well, I thought it was going to be Banner, probably Banner in the suit, and then when the suit started to fail, he would spring out of it as the Hulk.
I'm glad they didn't though, I'm glad that we didn't see the Hulk in that. I'm glad that Banner had his hero moment, and then him just saying, Hulk, buddy, we got a lot to talk about. Because
what does the Hulk know? Why does he? Because the Hulk was active. He was actively pushing back against being the other guy.
Yeah. He is. I think that because the Hulk was so used to being the Incredible Hulk, and then for 2 years he was undefeated in tournament and in the Grandmaster's Gladiator games, and then he's just always been the Hulk, and then Thanos throws him around like he threw Loki around at the end of the first Avengers, which, by the way, how great was that line that Loki turned around and said, "We have a Hulk."
Yeah.
And he's like, bam, and it was great. And he was starting to look like he was going to kick his ass, and the guy's like, no, let him have his fun. And then it was just, Hulk just got destroyed.
But we've seen Hulk get to that point, close to that point before. Not necessarily by just like one person.
The only time that we've ever seen the Hulk totally laid out like that was in Age of Ultron by Tony in the Hulkbuster. And that was because he was able to calm him down long enough for him to change back to himself.
Well, what about in the original Avengers when everybody's pinned down and there's all the Chitauri fighters shooting at him?
Yeah, but he still wasn't laid out. He still was able to survive that and wasn't... I mean, this just... with ease.
True. But I still feel like that the Hulk knows something that it would be detrimental to everyone if the Hulk showed himself. I feel like that's what he's not gun shy. He is not becoming the Hulk for a specific reason.
I hope you're right. I hope that it is that he's got something else to contribute other than just, oh, the Hulk's just scared. Because I would hate to think of the Hulk being scared.
Yeah, no, I think it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you're right. So, what else do we want to talk about here?
Well, there was the final button. The
post credit scene.
Yeah.
The mother, which was a great little tag there, and then he's texting or sending the page to Captain Marvel. So seeing her little logo there on the pager was fantastic. So I was wondering how they were going to incorporate her, if she was actually going to show up, or if they were just going to have her be there in the button or whatever. But how they did it, I think worked well.
So now the Captain Marvel movie comes out when?
It comes out March next year. A month later, we get
whatever the next
Avengers 4. Yeah. What do you think they're going to call it? Because the reason they haven't announced the title is because apparently the title is supposed to be like a spoiler for what happens in this.
I don't know. Avengers...
The Reign of Thanos?
Chopping off motherfucker's hand. I don't know.
So, but yeah, and I'm sure that there are still lots and lots to talk about. I need to see this movie at least 1,700 more times between now and next May. What about you?
I want to see how the story ends. My biggest problem is that I got half a story.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of saw that coming, or I figured they were going to do that when they were talking about it's in 2 parts and this and that. So I guess that didn't bother me nearly as much as it bothered you. But it is going to be very, very interesting to see where they go from here and how it all wraps up. Speaking of wrapping up, that is going to wrap this review up. I didn't start that tag the way that I wanted to at all. Anyway, those are our thoughts on Avengers Infinity War. Let us know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Be sure you comment, like this video. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel just by clicking right here. We've got a whole bunch of other Marvel stuff. We've got a whole Marvel playlist you can check out right here. In the meantime, we've got some other really cool stuff coming throughout the rest of the year. We've got Deadpool coming up. We've got Solo and a bunch of other stuff through the end of the summer. In the meantime, we'll be here breaking it all down on the interwebs.
Hit your head again.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm getting good at that.